everybody, and welcome back to my channel. It is the Teddy Set, back for another video here. I had the itch to make a video, so I thought I may as well do just that. I wish I was on the home screen right here so I could show you what I wanted to show you, but I'm not on the home screen, so I can't show you what I wanted to show you. But that's okay, I'll just explain it to you. Basically, the prizes right now on the TCG for the ladder, for the, maybe I can show you on the versus. For the versus ladder, the prizes are, as you can see right here, it is that, what's it called, Hoopa EX, which is great with the Scoundrel Ring ability. And then if you get all the way up to the 200 wins, you get a Full Art N, which is absolutely ridiculous. Full Art N, for any of you collectors out there, is extremely coveted because that can earn you a pretty penny. And any of you bling collectors out there like Tiana, I'm sure you have at least one. I know Josh has like 3. I don't know. But my video today is basically going to center around the importance of draw support in the Pokemon meta game. This is going to be a pretty beginner's guide, so anybody who knows a decent amount about the Pokemon TCG, you may as well just like stop watching now. This probably isn't for you. So we're gonna go over my collection and we're gonna show you what the multitude of draw support is going to be. Now, with the introduction of Sun and Moon, we got the new Orangaru card. Orangaru has the ability Instruct. Once during your turn, before you attack, you may draw until you have 3 cards in your hand. Really fantastic ability because it can be used more than once, unlike Shaman's. Shaman I'll show you in a little bit. But on the downside, this Instruct can only be used if you have less than 3 cards in your hand, which is not an easy feat unless you're running something that utilizes a lot of tool cards or utilizes a lot of Pokemon, such as some Lurantis builds with that Forest of Giant Plants that gets everything out of your hand, or maybe like a Turbo Darkrai build where you use a lot of items. In addition to that, if you are running something of a water deck, you have the option of running this Octillery card with the ability Abyssal Hand. Once during your turn, before you attack, you may draw until you have 5 cards in your hand. An amazing ability because it doesn't restrict you on by only having 1 or 2 cards in your hand. You can do it when you only have 3, maybe 4, just to get like that energy that you need, something like that. Really fantastic, but you can really only utilize Octillery to its full potential in water decks because searching for that Octillery is going to be difficult because you're only going to want to run 1, maybe 2 at the most, and those dive balls really help for that. Now, for the coveted Shaman EX. I'll show you the full art version just because it's pretty. Shaman EX. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, you may draw until you have 6 cards in your hand. Now, as you guys should know already, supporters are a 1 of per turn. You can only play 1 supporter per turn. So if you use that supporter to play maybe a Sycamore or maybe an N, so you can get that wider variety of cards in your hand, and you get this Shaman, you're allowed to use that draw support again, which is crucial to the speed of your deck. If you don't have the cards that you need after using your supporter the first time, or maybe you use that supporter to get rid of a DCE on your opponent's Pokemon or something like that, that extra cards in your hand are going to be absolutely crucial, as I was saying. Next, we're going to go into trainers. Trainers is going to be absolutely something else. There are a crazy amount of trainers for draw support. Now, we're going to go for the obvious front runner. Well, I shouldn't say obvious because I've seen it a pretty split decision right now, but Professor Sycamore. You may discard your hand and draw 7 cards. Now, people are often put off by the fact that you have to discard your hand to draw the 7 cards, but if you prepare correctly for playing around your Sycamore, that could even work to your ability. Like, here, I mentioned this before. Let's take Lurantis and Turbo Darkrai both as options. For Turbo Darkrai, you have that Oblivion Wing Yveltal that allows you to take energy cards from your discard pile and put them onto your Pokemon in any way you like. It's 1 per turn, but still. Now, if you use your Professor Sycamore and you discard 3 Dark Energies, you're pretty set. You just set up your Yveltal possibly first turn for its ability, for its attack's ability. Now that's not even bad. You also have your Lurantis, which has the revitalizer. I'm sorry, item card, which allows you to take 2 grass Pokemon from your discard pile and put them into your hand. Really awesome if you needed to draw that forest of giant plants, and say you had a Formentis and Lurantis in your hand. You can discard those 2. You can draw, get the forest of giant plants that you needed, and if luck was on your side, maybe a revitalizer, get them back into your hand, and then play them immediately. So Professor Sycamore definitely does have its strengths. It definitely does have its weaknesses, although if you don't have the ability to get those cards that you discarded back from your discard pile either into your hand or onto your field, you're kind of going to be screwed. Professor Sycamore made waves, I believe it was in, forgive me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was Night March, because people wanted to discard all those Pokemon. Now I'm going to show you N. I'm so happy they fixed that annoying shit where you couldn't search N just because he was a 1-letter card name. Each player, now that's a huge thing as well. You also don't want to help out your opponent if they have 1 card in their hand and 6 prize cards by giving them an additional 5 cards. Each player shuffles his or her hand into his or her deck. Then each player draws a card for each of his or her remaining prize cards. Now, this card is really great if you can get it in, I would say, really early to mid-game when you don't have a lot of prize cards taken already. If you've already taken 4 to 5 of your opponent's prize cards, then you're only drawing 1 or 2 cards. This card wouldn't even help you in the best or the worst of cases. So you might just want to stick to that Professor Sycamore when it gets to late game, which is why I personally prefer Sycamore, but you can't play any deck without N. You can't. It's basically the support engine right now. It's necessary. So pretty self-explanatory on that card. You can guarantee yourself 6 cards if you play it early game. Now, there's also things like Shauna. I play Shauna in a few of my decks just because I don't want to benefit my opponent by giving them that 6-card draw. Shuffle your hand into your deck and then draw 5 cards. So this card is basically like N, except it's restricted to 5 cards, so you could even play this late game after you've taken a bunch of prize cards, not be too thrown off by it, and then draw 5 cards. Okay, so we've been over supporters, we've been over Pokemon. Now I want to show you just a few of the item cards that can even help you with some draw support. Now, there aren't as many as, say, Pokemon, or not nearly as many as trainers, but, you know, there's a decent amount. Look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put one into your hand, and discard the other. So this one gives you the option of choosing one of the top 2 cards of your deck, but then you also have the drawback of having to discard one. There's also things like Bicycle. Now, I'm not completely sure if this is tournament legal. I doubt it is. I'm pretty sure that's like a Plasma Freeze. I don't know, whatever. Draw cards until you have 4 cards in your hand. Again, really great card. And then you also have cards like Lucky Helmet. Lucky Helmet's an item card, but it is a tool card. Whenever the Pokemon this card is attached to is your active Pokemon and is damaged by an opponent's attack, even if that Pokemon is knocked out, draw 2 cards. So that could literally be any sort of damage at all. So say your opponent is playing some Decidueye and they have 3 on the bench and all 3 of them hit you 3 different times. That's 6 cards that you're drawing. That's pretty nuts for your Lucky Helmet. Okay, so I've shown you the cards, and I've explained what they do, and I haven't really explained why. So as I'm doing that, you know, I'm just going to hop into a really, really draw-heavy deck, and I'm going to show you the reason why draw support is so necessary. So before I even start this battle, I just want to say shouts out to Pokemon Tiana. This is basically like a... Oh, shit. Tell me I'm going to mirror somebody right now. This is basically like a skeleton of her build with just a few cards that I switched around just because I just to adhere to my own play style as opposed to hers. I'm going to go first because I'm going to try to get that first turn item lock. And of course I take that mulligan. I have a lot... Okay, so he's playing Decidueye. I am playing Lurantis. My Lurantis item lock, unfortunately, isn't going to affect him too much because I'm pretty sure that Decidueye build, if he's playing like the really meta one, is going to be a majority of Pokemon, and he'll probably honestly be trying to run Vileplume himself. Now, this Lurantis deck, while I absolutely love it, I don't know why I get mulligans like it's nobody's fucking business. Like, there's like 8 basic Pokemon in here. There's no reason I should be getting this many mulligans. Alright, so first turn, as you can see, we are getting the Acrobike, Forest of Giant Plants, and 2 Trainer's Mails. Trainer's Mails are really important. Not considered draw support, but also very important for the engines of most decks. My first turn, obviously, is going to be putting out the Forest of Giant Plants so I can evolve into Lurantis first turn. I am going to, just as a pro quo, I'm going to add the Floatstone onto Lurantis to give him that ability to retreat whenever necessary. I'm going to grab my level ball. I'm going to grab myself a Oddish, just as he has on the bench. Hopefully, try to get mine out first turn, and so he can't use any items. See if we can get that. You know what I'm saying? Vileplume out first turn. May as well use the Acrobike. I don't see why I wouldn't. Revitalizer and a Lysander. I'm going to grab the Lysander because I don't want to discard the Revitalizer. Oh, I'm sorry. Wow. I did the exact opposite that I wanted to do. I should stop doing these videos when I'm smacked. Alright, so we got another Acrobike. Hopefully we can come up a little bit better this time. I want what's it called? Alright, Fomantis will do. No, you know what? I'm actually going to take the Floatstone. I'm going to add the Floatstone to my repertoire, and I'm going to give it to, I'm sorry, what's his name? Oddish, just because if he does so happen to, what's it called? Oh, look at that. We got the Gloom, and we also got an Ultra Ball. So it worked really fantastically. So, as you guys saw, the draw support, the Acrobikes came in totally handy, and we also got the Gloom from the end, and we also got an Ultra Ball. Hold on, first I'm going to attach this energy because that's just necessary, but we also got the Ultra Ball. I'm going to take the L, I am going to discard the Lurantis. We got the first turn. See, if I didn't get that Gloom, my Ultra Ball instinct would have told me to grab that Shaman and grab some more cards because it ups the chance of me actually getting that Vileplume that I wanted. So boom, there we have it. First turn, Lurantis and Vileplume, and we only have draw support to thank. If there was any better example, there's not. That was absolutely perfect. So he can't use any item cards at all, which is fantastic because we got that Vileplume out. I got the Lurantis out first turn. We have, I'm sorry, I thought I had an energy in my discard pile. We even have the Sycamore lying in wait for 1 discard, and we grab 7 more cards. So we have the Fomantis, we have an Ultra Ball. If I want to grab, I'm sorry, I can't even, if I didn't have the Vileplume out there, I would have the Ultra Ball to grab, say, another Lurantis, but that's not in the stars right now. So we're just going to add the, now, you know what? I don't like the looks of this, so I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna retreat with him, and I'm gonna let Vileplume take some hits. But that's all right. You guys saw what you needed to. At this point, it's just me battling, so I'm gonna clock out. So thank you very much for watching, guys. You saw the importance of draw supporters. Now go into your decks, add whatever you can, but don't go overboard. If all you can do is draw, then you're not going to be able to do anything else. So this has been the Teddy Set. Thank you very much for watching, guys. You have a great morning, afternoon, or night, whatever you're having.